Recording is on.
There you go.
Like this is a little, the idea is to stand in front of the yin yang symbol and using your finger or your hand to turn your hips so that you're come up on the left side. Say with your right hand, you put your come up on the side and you have to turn your hips to the left and allow your arm to come up to the center. Then you turn your hips back. You drop down your hand is here, turning your hips to the right, bringing your hand up, and all the way back around. And that's the whole exercise on each side.
Wait a second. Let's see if I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is that you are starting with your hand, describing the circle, the outside of the circle on the left-hand side. Then
Right,
you're going to the top of that circle,
yes,
and then you're following, in your particular instance here, you're following the black line, the black figure, and now you're going to be circling down and not around the right, down that way. And then when you get down to the bottom of that, then what happens?
you turn your hips to the right,
Yeah.
and you bring your hand all the way back up.
Wait. How do you turn your hand? You have to move
Yeah.
the camera down a little bit.
When you hit the bottom, your hand is kind of flat.
Wait, John, I can't see it. We can't see the your
Sorry,
hand.
sorry. When you hit the bottom, your hand is kind of flat. In other words, you're here straight, left, come up, over, right. You want to come back to the left, drop. Now you're in the center. Your hand is here. You turn it a little bit. You turn your hips.
So you have to turn it over in order to go back up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Otherwise, you get convoluted.
yeah.
Well, that wouldn't stop anybody from doing anything. Okay.
But that's one of a number of exercises that work for that. For that.
Okay.
And there's another one.
Go
There's
ahead.
another one, which is a back and forth. It's called the mill wheel.
It's what wheel?
stand- The mill wheel. You know,
Mill
the
wheel,
millstone.
okay.
You know, the millstone, the grindstone. There's a number that go this way, which causes you to turn your hips. And the other one that's interesting is one which you held your hands about 4 inches apart, as if you're standing in a hominy, say right hominy, and you're holding this wheel. You push the wheel down. You got to push. You push the wheel down. You bring your hips forward. You let it start to come up. It comes up on its own. You grab it at the top. You pull it back, and you push it back under. So you're pulling, bringing your weight back. You're pushing, bringing your weight forward.
So that's a vertical wheel.
Yeah, yeah. There are many others, but those are the ones that come to mind immediately. This one, which I love, this one.
Okay.
And recently I came across this guy. And it's just moving your center back and forth, or moving your center left, right, left, center, right, all the way around.
Okay. Anything else?
Not immediately, but those are a couple of the things that we do.
Okay. The way that I'm seeing that is that those are good exercises to show that it's the body that leads and the hand follows, rather than what many people do in Aikido, which is having the hand do stuff like, for example, Tenshinage. They come in and then smash down and use strength rather than use center.
Right. There is a very well-known master, Cheng Man-ching,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
and his one of the stories that he supposedly told, was that he slept one night and he was sleeping one night and he was fighting because he had no arms, and he couldn't use his arms, and he was trying to get away from something. And from that day on, his Tai Chi improved because if you're using your hands, you're dancing, but if you're using your center, you're doing Tai Chi.
Okay.
That's everything I have to say at the moment.
Okay, so that's good. I like those. I'm going to submit that. I'm going to show you something that is a little bit different from that, and it may be helpful in terms of Aikido specifically. Okay, and a lot of the work that we've been doing. Matter of fact, if you guys want to just sit, you can sit if you want, or you can just stand too. It doesn't matter, whichever one you want to do. Um, okay, I'll stand. Okay, so you're standing in a just in a position that's comfortably shoulder legs. What do you call it? Shoulder width apart. Okay, Sam.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
good.
I'm just setting up.
Okay, when you're ready, I'll explain to you what we're doing.
Okay, I'm listening.
Matter of fact, if you're listening, well, I want you to get settled first. I don't
Okay.
believe in multitasking. I believe in monotasking.
Okay. All right, I'm ready. I
Okay.
just had to unroll my carpet.
Okay. What we're doing today, at least we're going to start off, is working on our center. We've been talking about, and I keep on referring to moving your center, and then your center moves and everything else follows. Okay.
Mhm.
So John was just showing us some exercises from Tai Chi that he's used and finds useful. And what I'm about to do is to show show an approach which I think is directly related to Aikido itself. Okay,
Mhm.
when he reimagined. So starting from here, you have your hand on the belly, and what I would like you to try to do is to move your abdomen, move your abdomen without moving your hips. So, John, you were moving hips with your center. Okay, what I want to do is I don't want to be doing that. I want to be just moving. I don't know if you can see it, but or you could put your hand on your side like this, so you feel your abdominal muscles going against the hand. And on this side, you're going to feel tissue pulling this way. You're going to feel tissue going that way. Okay, so just work on that. I don't know if a lot of people are going to feel like you have to move like that, but I'm trying to get so that you're stable at the base and all you're doing and your shoulders are stable. And I don't want you to be moving a lot. It's just a small amount just so you can activate just your center and do it from left to right now. Okay, we'll be doing up and down and diagonally in a little bit. But right now, just see if you can move to your left, move to your right. When I do this, I feel a little bit of tension in my leg. If I'm going to my left, I feel a little bit of tension happening in my leg, but you don't want to have that happen. You want to just isolate your abdomen. What's the for?
Well, I'm just thinking about how that's actuated, muscle wise. I mean, maybe I should just think about it mentally, but I mean, I kind of like, it's kind of internal, right? You kind of like pulling to the left or to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's your mind that's activating your center. Okay. So you're activating it, and you're not moving a lot at all.
No.
And that movement is, if you're moving, from my perspective, I'm moving to my left. Okay. But I'm also feeling the right side moving towards my hand. Okay. So I'm feeling this rotation like that.
You know what's interesting?
Tell me.
I almost feel like it is condensing this way. Like as you turn this way, it shortens here, and
Well,
lengthens here.
I don't want you to do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
That's why
So
we ask
you-
questions.
Well, I'm just saying to keep your hips static while you're doing this, something else has to happen with your abdominals.
No, it doesn't.
No?
Just stay here. Stay with me on this. If you see
Yeah.
my shoulders right now,
Mhm.
they're at the top of the screen. Okay. So the way that I understand you describing it is
Uh-huh.
somehow the shoulders go down, but I don't want that to happen. If your shoulders are here, they stay here.
No, my shoulders aren't going up and down. I'm just talking about the muscle contracting this way as
Okay.
opposed to this way.
Don't do that.
Okay. I'm not controlling it. It's just happening. I mean, I feel as I.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, and this is something that it may take a while to do and to get the hang of it. And now, I want you to try rolling this way. So you feel this happening and this coming up.
Without moving your hips,
Without moving your hips, without moving your shoulders, without moving anything else.
no spinal movement.
Correct. And don't worry about how you look when you do it. Just get that, just see if you can activate it. And try moving down this way, vertically.
Now this one seems to initiate in my sacrum. Like,
Yeah, I get the same feeling.
Okay, maybe that's okay. I don't really understand it very well about what you're saying, but it's as long as you're able to activate your center moving up and down, and too much noise.
it's almost like I'm tightening my glutes and that's what's making it go up.
No, you don't want to do that. So if you want to help visualize it, you can do one of two things. One is you can actually use your hands to move, elbow down, hands up, or you can, it's probably better, easier to use the hands on your
Hey,
abdomen.
Warren,
Yes.
Warren, when you are pulling it up, so to speak, pulling it up, would you be breathing in when you're doing that? You know, when you breathe in and go,
Breathing's irrelevant.
breathing is relevant. Okay.
Irrelevant.
Seems like you're really trying to isolate certain specific muscle groups in a way because you don't want it to affect your legs or your shoulders or anything else. So you're trying to move these muscles in isolation.
And it's not just muscle. It's the entire structure, your tissues, your fascia, your muscles, your organs, whatever's in there. You want to see if you can move that.
Almost like belly dancing.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe hula dancing.
Not that I know anything about
Hey.
belly dancing or hula dancing.
Adam can teach us about hula dancing in the next class.
Okay.
He's a hula dancer.
I can show you about belly dancing.
We've got so much talent here. Okay.
I practice figure eight belly dancing. It's actually a really good exercise. But anyway, sorry, Warren.
So now you can also try diagonal movements. So
Okay.
from bottom to up, and then this other way.
I was doing circles, but
And then
diagonal.
down too.
Yeah. Yeah, you're really trying to identify these little micro muscles to make the movement. It's very interesting.
I mean, yeah, fascia doesn't move. I mean, you don't have motor nerves that move your guts around.
Well,
You're-
actually, fascia does move.
Well,
And it moves only in one direction. It can only contract. It cannot push. It can
okay.
only contract. So what you're probably doing, if what you want to be doing, is contracting one side and just releasing the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Man,
you're going diagonally, you're contracting up here, and you're releasing down
You don't
here.
want anything going on up here in your ribs. It's all happening in here.
Uh-huh.
I suspect this is something you got to really practice for a long period of time to get the real feel for it.
Correct. So,
Visualize.
Some of the things that we do that that I've been showing in terms of Reimagine utilizes this, and this adds another dimension to it. So even if we're doing this exercise right here. So if you're starting from your center and going up diagonally, that's the feeling you want. Now, we're throwing in a little bit of the shoulder movement, but that doesn't matter. It's what is generating the power, which is your center, which is what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it fast. You can do it slow, too.
Is your abdominals are going the opposite way of your hand? So if
No.
I'm going up here, I'm twisting
No.
back that way?
The way that I'm visualizing it
Uh-huh.
is that if my hands are going up this way,
Mhm.
to make my hands that go up, I'm using my center going up this way.
Oh, you're keeping it one unit. Your hand and your center is
Well,
one
not
unit.
quite. Not quite. There's a little bit of a lag from the time where your center is moving to your arms, because there's a lag. There's difference here, so it's not all together. It's like your center is pulling your arms.
So it precedes your arms slightly.
Yes,
Your abdominal precedes your arms.
correct.
Sort of like your hip precedes your foot when you step.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So let's go with some of our exercises. So, for example, Kotegaish. We'll see this all the time in all these exercises. In Kotegaish, let's start with how we did it before, which is your left foot forward, left kami, okay? And as you're pulling down, we've talked about bending over. We've talked about twisting, rotating, right? But now let's add our center. That this is what's actually pulling. This is what's driving the motion, rather than the descriptions I've been using. You feel the difference?
I think so.
And you can actually, when you're standing here like so, same feeling. It's your center rotating, which is pulling your elbow down, which is now pulling the hand that's being bent.
Warren,
Yes, sir.
where is your weight?
Your weight, well, Tai Chi wise, it shouldn't be double weighted. But for our exercises right now, if I'm standing parallel here, then my weight is firmly on both feet. Okay? If I'm standing up this way with Nahame, it's slightly more on the front leg than on the back leg. Okay? So the weight is really, not that it's not relevant. What we're focusing on is just the movement of your center, because your weight could be anywhere. You could be like this on one leg. Let's do it this way. be on one leg. And I want that action being driven by your center. Clear? Okay. So same with Nikyo. So we've been talking about that the elbow drives down, the hips drive, and that's making this technique happen. But now let's kick it into a different gear. Let's talk about our center. That's movement, the motion, your center is now driving it. It's now driving your elbow, which is connected, right? So your center, turning. Other side. Should have done Kotegaeshi on the other side too. Didn't.
So up until this point, we've been very hip centered, like using the hip movement, and now you're trying to move away from the hips and into the abdominals.
Yes, in short, yes. But I've also mentioned a number of times moving from your center. But for shorthand purposes and for ease of visualization, I've been using hip.
Okay.
But now, correct. Trying to get now that feeling, trying to activate your center, which now makes this actually happen.
And so the hips should move less and the abdominal should drive it more.
Yes.
Compared to what we were doing.
Yes. Okay. Let's go on to Sankhya. So Sankhya, it should be really, really, really evident at this point that instead of driving the hip, take your center. You can actually try to isolate it. You don't have to move a lot. Yeah, it's funny. The more you do it, the more you're aware of it, the easier it is. Okay. Let's see. We can do Ikkyo. So Ikkyo, same thing. When if you remember how I was describing the beginning part of this motion, is that we're talking about turning, right? I'm sorry, left. And I said we did the ratcheting, right? We did this, stop, more. Now it's coming from the center. The center is now driving this. Other side, right on me.
Hey, Warren, your image is frozen.
Say again?
Your image is frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still moving.
Not for me.
Ah,
Okay.
Might be
Mexico.
on your end.
Yeah, Adam, your signal is low.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or as they say, non-optimal.
Oh,
Now-
green now.
Now it's good. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
Get me then.
okay. So let's do some of the Ikkyo techniques, keeping in mind the rotation and the utilization of our centers. So we had Ikkyo, the basic one, just coming forward, right? And up, Now when we come up, two hands with the palms in the same direction, that now coming up is being driven by our center and not by lifting the hands and not by whatever. It's the center that's doing this. You don't have to do it fast. You can do it slowly too. Other side, right homie. And let it not be said that when you're coming down, the downward movement is happening from your center also. So up from center, down from center, up, down. And it's not just the hips going forward and backward. Try to feel that trigonometry, try to visualize it. Okay, moving on for Ikkyo. We'll go backwards. We're doing the inside out movement. And again, from here, you can keep one hand on here if you wish. And the movement down, so this is up, center is moving up. Now the motion going down is driven also by the center moving. And remember, as I was describing these, as we go up, the elbow is coming up, leading with the elbow, which is actually being led by your center. Okay, the elbow is now in the center line. And then you're coming down, we talked about the elbow first. Well, now the elbow is being led by your center. Okay, we do the other side now. Okay, you can work both sides for a few moments. You know, doing these exercises, these key exercises, utilizing your center, now becomes, in my opinion, much more energy consuming. Okay, so you'll start getting tired more quickly, probably if you're doing that, because your body is going to be more tired because you're engaging everything while you're moving. So rather than just coming back and down, okay, which doesn't take a lot, but now if you're starting engaging all your muscles, your fascia, it's going to be, you're using a lot more energy. Okay, so now let's move on to outside in. So when you watch the someone doing Aikido, and if you watch yourself doing this, if you watch the elbow, you'll see whether or not the person is actually engaging the entire body. Because if they're just doing something like this and down, and the body is not moving with that, as until we would say something wrong. Other side. Is that making some sense?
Yes.
Together a little bit. Um, okay, and one more, Kokenage from here. So from here, coming up, again, your center, elbow, here. Now your center is now going to be rotating around. That's what's going to be driving this leg. This back leg is now going to move as a result of the connection between your center and call your hip flexor. Okay, here, here. And when we get back to doing Aikido, you'll feel the difference. You'll feel it's much stronger if you are engaging that musculature.
Aren't we doing Aikido?
I mean, right now?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question.
You say when we get back to it.
Yeah, well, the reason it's an interesting question is it depends on how you define it. I was referring to working with partners, uke and nage, but you have a point there that what we are actually doing is Aikido, which basically using our opposites, and you'll notice that that's exactly what our center is. We're using the opposite sides.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go back to John's, yin yang symbol. It's the opposites that are moving here, and that's exactly what we're engaging. Okay, so Kokenage again.
My dream is that when we get done with this and we do get back to partners, that we will be that much better at it because of this kind of centered practicing.
This is this is
my
my hope. Yeah, this is my hope.
Yeah. Okay.
And just as a reminder, one of my favorite things to talk about with Kokenage is that all too often we come in and we try to walk around uke and then do the throw. But if you're utilizing your center this way, you're on the center line. As you're coming in, uke is going around you rather than you around uke. Got it?
Okay.
Okay, so let's now work on Benakoki Undo. So from here, so you should feel, as we mentioned one time before, that this motion is coming from the bowing of the spine, bowing and unbowing. But that bowing and unbowing is going to be motivated by your center. So your center is going to be feeling like it's going down here as you're doing the forward motion and back up and come back. Is that clear? There should be a whole different feeling about how you effectuate the rowing exercise.
Are you, when you guys do this, are you thinking figure eight, or am I too literally thinking about this? Like,
No, that's fine.
you are. I can't see it in your movement, but
Yeah, but
I,
what I'm in right now for our purposes, the figure eight is not what I'm emphasizing. I'm not worrying about that right now. I don't even care about it. What
okay.
I'm care about is the back moving as a result of what your center is doing. You got it?
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing about the figure eight is it seems, in my case, to emphasize the bowing of my back, because if I'm going down, like I'm rotating around the eight this way, then it makes my back bow.
Well, I'm going to submit that. Well, two things. One is that your arm motion is going up way too high here and then down. So it's really
Should be
just,
subtler.
yeah, much. It's maybe 4 inches here. You see that? Okay. Now, what? But it's the arms. When you said that the arms are doing this, it's not the arms. It's the back and the center are making this happen rather than the arms. The arms just follow. The arms are connectors. Okay? They don't do anything. Okay? So we work to have a whole feeling of this center coming down and back following, and then it comes back this way, opening, closing, opening. And then that's being centered, that's being motivated from your center. So that your center, the top part, should be going down this way. Should be rotating this way. And when you come back, rotating the other way. Okay? I'm going through this pretty quickly. But the reason I'm going through it quickly also is because I'm just trying to show how the center is infused in all of these techniques. Let's do 10 contact. So from here, hate to say it, but he's always there. Turn. Now we're turning our center this way. That's making this happen. Here. So that elbow, that lead elbow, is following the center. Do you remember when I'm talking about this originally? I'm talking about bring your elbow in, lead from your elbow. Now I'm saying is have the elbow follow the movement of your center and effectuate that turn.
Wow, that gives a lot more stability.
Okay.
When you start thinking about that elbow being glued to your center.
Right. Well, not glued, but synchronistic with your center.
Yeah, not glued attached, but glued like in position.
Right.
Like in front of my center.
Very.
Like I was thinking my hand in front of my center, but now you're saying think your elbow.
Yep.
In front of your center.
Other side. You have another 15. Guys, excuse me just for 1 second. Keep on working just for a moment. I got to do something over here. Dead mouse now. Okay, I'm back. Okay, where was I? Oh, we were doing. Okay, here. So by engaging the entire corpus, no longer should you be stuck. If someone holds your wrist, you're using your center to effectuate that turn. And it should be relatively easy to do. Okay. Next, Takubi Kosa. Again, the back. And then up. Knees slightly bent. So again, you should feel your center moving this way, up, and then open and move it down. So that. Okay. Okay, Sayundo. So from here, it's a really good example of the abdominal moving here. So as we come in, here, that's it. I find a very interesting part of this is the transition of between changing directions. So this is a good example of that. So as you're coming in this way, what happens? How do you make that transition take place? So really thinking about what goes on in here, that turn to me is really interesting.
Are you lifting a foot at all, or you're pretty
Yeah.
much staying on your heels?
Pretty much just moving my heel around.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty much it. I mean, there are some other exercises, but I think that sort of drives home the point about utilizing the center. Any thoughts, questions, comments?
I thought it was good. I think you should keep the recording.
Say again?
Warren, I thought it was good. I think you should keep the recording.
Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do though is stop the recording now, and because I have to. Well, I'll tell you in a second.